What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here's Logistical Response. I cover political news. Now, I have a pretty good video for you guys today. This is a breaking story that came out this morning. An indictment from the DOJ comes down about some Russian-backed people that worked with RT. Apparently created a company, or were paying somebody to create a company. This is all crazy. Let me read the headline for you right quick. Check this out, y'all. Indictment. Russians funneled money to right-wing influencers. Now, this is a crazy, crazy story. It just broke this morning, so we're not 100% sure what's going on with this. This is all alleged, so keep that in mind right off the top. Now, I did a lot of research for this one because I happen to watch two of the people that are named in the indictment. They're named as victims, but the corporate press, they don't really say that until way down in the back of the article. But what they're trying to do here is lie, because we figure out now that I'm looking at all this, the federal government, the United States government, has Russia derangement syndrome, as a matter of fact, because we'll get into that. But this is just crazy. I'm sorry if I repeat myself a lot in this, like saying words a bunch of times. Sorry. All right, let's get into it, though. Tenet Media, a content creation company linked to right-wing influencers, including Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, and Dave Rubin, has been identified by multiple outlets as the company, number one, named in a federal indictment against two Russian nationals, Konstantin Kalishnikov and Elena Afanasyeeva, are accused of funneling almost $10 million to the Tennessee-based company to boost pro-Russian narratives as part of a propaganda campaign, reports CBS News. CNN reports that Tenet Media describes itself as a network of heterodox commentators that focus on Western political and cultural issues, identical to language the indictment uses to describe company number one. Now, this is outright, this is the corporate press doing their investigations. Figure this out. All right, this isn't named in the indictment. There are people named in the indictment, and this is probably how they figured that out, right? Like, you see the three commentators named in the indictment. You can go and check this out right quick and see exactly what YouTube channel they're talking about. They're talking about Tenet Media, of course, as they said. They're talking about Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Benny Johnson. Now, I happen to listen to Tim Pool and Benny Johnson quite often. I don't listen to Dave Rubin whatsoever. I've seen some of his videos, but he's not for me. You know what I'm saying? But this is a crazy story, and there's a lot of speculation in this indictment, as we'll get to. Now, I have looked from a bunch of different commentators, checking out, other people talking about this and checking out what they're saying, and I feel like I bring something new to the table, if you will. That's the entire reason I'm covering this, because you guys, the longtime viewers, know I don't like to cover news that everybody else is covering. I'm trying to have my little corner over here. So at least when you come to me, you're getting information you didn't get from anywhere else. I'm trying to be unique in that. But I'm covering this because, once again, like I said, I feel like I bring a unique perspective to this. Let's get into it, or let's keep going, as a matter of fact. Hidden messaging. Okay, this is where we start to get into the speculation, because that's what it is. Check this out. Hidden messaging. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the two employees of state-backed media company RT, formerly Russia Today, set up the scheme to create and distribute content to U.S. audiences with hidden Russian government messaging, the Daily Beast reports. Now, keep that in mind. That's going to be a linchpin of my argument coming up here in a minute. Other influencers. The other three right-wing influencers named as the talent on Tenet Media's website, along with Poole, Johnson, and Rubin, are Lauren Southern, Taylor Hanson, and Matt Christensen. Together, they have more than 7 million subscribers on YouTube, the AP reports. One contract was for $400,000 a month. Man, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? According to the indictment, $8.7 million of the $9.7 million Tenet received from the Russians went to the production companies of three commentators, Wired reports. They were not named in the indictment. One commentator had a contract for $400,000 a month for 4 weekly videos, plus a $100,000 signing bonus. That's insane. These people are getting paid through the freaking wazoo. And I believe, and I'm pretty sure, that's Benny Johnson, because he makes 4 videos a week. The goal was to amplify domestic divisions. Okay, many of the company's videos contain commentary on events and issues in the U.S., such as immigration, inflation, and other topics related to domestic and foreign policy, the indictment states. While the views expressed in the videos are not uniform, most are directed to the publicly stated goals of the government of Russia and RT to amplify domestic divisions in the U.S. Now, this is where we're going to come in. Okay, so when we continue reading through this, you will see that these people that are indicted by the DOJ are at large. So the FBI or none of these people have actually talked to these people. So I want to know how they have this information. But once again, sowing division in this country. What do you mean sowing division? It's not the right-wing commentators that are sowing division. These people, or at least Tim Pool and Benny Johnson, read the news and discuss the news. So how is that sowing division? This is what I would love to know from these people, right? How do they know it's a hidden Russian message? Well, how do they know if it's a hidden Russian message? Well, once again, they haven't arrested these people or talked to these people at all. So how did they get their hands on this information? How do they know it's a disinformation campaign from Russia? This is what I would love to know, because I don't think that it is. These people, like, I listen to Tim Pool and Benny Johnson a lot, and they're not pro-Russia. Of course, we'll read that out here later in the article. They're not pro-Russia. They read the news, and they discuss the news that's going on. They are upset with the federal government. They are upset with Democrats. Oh, that's what it is. Right-wing influencers criticizing Democrats. Yeah, I think that's what's going on here, because once again, like I said, I listen to a lot of their stuff, and no, they're not trying to sow division. They don't want division. They actually discuss many ways of bringing people together, like trying to wake certain people up. Hey, get out there and read the damn news. That's what you need to do. Because a lot of people, they don't pay attention to politics all that much. And the left-wing people that do pay attention to politics, come to find out they lie constantly. We talk about it all the time. We prove it almost every single day. The corporate press and the mainstream narrative machine, they're constantly lying to me, to you, to everybody. And it's crazy. And it's like, why are you lying about these things? Right? Some of the stuff that they're lying about is just completely ridiculous. Like the number of criminal aliens that have come across the border. Like, why? We know there's a crisis. They try to deny there's a crisis. They've tried to deny there's a crisis since the crisis started when Joe Biden came in office. But we know that. We know that. But it's just funny. Let's keep going and see what else we got here. Russians use covert identities to push narratives. Right? Like, as if they would need covert identities to push narratives for some reason, right? Like, insinuating that Tenet Media and all these people, they're not complicit, but insinuating that they are or something. It's like, weird. The indictment states that the 2 Russians had covert identities at the company, with Kalishnikov posing as an outside editor and Afis something posing as a member of his team. It states that Afansvenya directed the posting of hundreds of videos and gave instructions to the company's staff, telling one of the founders after the March attack on a Moscow concert venue they should blame Ukraine and the United States for the attack. Now, okay, so how do they know that? I would love to see this information, right? But you can't find the indictment. I looked for it when I was doing research for this, but I couldn't see it. For some reason, the government website was full of garbage, and I just couldn't find the actual indictment, the language of the indictment from the DOJ. So I don't know where they're getting this information from, and it's very confusing, and it's very frustrating because, once again, I like to confirm the sources, and I'm just basically having to go off what the corporate press is telling me, and I hate doing that. I almost never do that. Of course, I'm also going based off of what other commentators have talked about, and they're talking about, oh, well, we didn't know, blah, blah, blah. we're victims, which that sounds like they are, to be honest with you, because once again, I don't ever hear Tim Pool or Benny Johnson ever say anything positive about Russia. As a matter of fact, Tim Pool constantly calls Putin a douchebag, an authoritarian, an autocrat, dictator, right, whose invasion of Ukraine is illegal. Now, what he does say is, why are we involved? Which I say the same crap. I've been saying the same crap. That's not Russian disinformation. That's not some campaign, right? Like, how do they explain me? Because I have no ties to none of these people, none of this garbage, and I say the same stuff. I don't try to sow division. I read the freaking news. I have my opinions. I put my opinions out there for everybody to know. And I want to know why Democrats are trying to destroy the country. Why Merrick Garland isn't being held to account for his crimes. Oh, what crime is that? Yeah, for withholding information from congressional investigators. They held Merrick Garland in contempt. And guess what? The DOJ chose not to prosecute Merrick Garland. Oh, surprise, surprise. And now we're getting this right into the run-up to the election. Just so happens, oh, well, this is some Russian disinformation. This is just insanity, if you ask me. These people are getting desperate. Commentators were duped. According to the indictment, the company's founder actively concealed the company's links to Russia from the individual creators. Wired reports. Yes, so did Benny Johnson and Tim Pool. Both say that. Tenet was founded by Canadian right-wing influencer Lauren Chin and her husband, Liam Donovan. Poole says commentators are victims. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as the other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims, Poole said in a post on X. He said he retained full editorial control of his Culture War podcast under the agreement with Tenet. Putin is a scumbag, he wrote. Now, what's funny about this, I don't know if you guys noticed or paid attention to it. Hopefully you did, but you notice there was no charges in that article. That was a left-wing source. Notice it was just basically focused on the right-wing influencers in the United States. Basically, they mentioned something about the $10 million, but they didn't say what the indictments were. Now let's go to a centrist source and read out just the first couple of paragraphs, and let's see what's really going on here. A secret Russian influence campaign allegedly paid $10 million to prop up a media company hosting what it saw as like-minded right-wing commentators in the U.S., including popular pundits like Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and Tim Pool. The Justice Department indicted 2 employees of the Russian state-controlled media outlet RT on Wednesday for acting as unregistered foreign agents and laundering $9.7 million in payments to a Tennessee media company to allegedly promote pro-Kremlin propaganda. Allegedly. See, you love how the left wing just blow right on past these allegations. The employees, okay, we already read all that. Blah, 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 are at large. The 2 people, Konstantin and Elena, are at large, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, after floating for almost a year. The media entity that posted nearly 2,000 videos that have garnered more than 16 million views on YouTube alone. Now, what is funny to me, what is really funny, okay, so the DOJ is indicting these people for not registering as foreign agents and money laundering. Now, where are they getting the dadgum Russian propaganda garbage from? Right? Because, once again, like I said, I watched 2 of those 3 commentators. Quite a lot, as a matter of fact. Not on a daily basis, but, every couple of days or so, I'll watch a video from both of them. And, I don't see any Russian propaganda at all coming from neither one of these places. But what's puzzling to me is how do they know it's Russian propaganda? Because, once again, all they do is they do pretty much what I do. They read the news and discuss the news. How is that sowing division? I'm just... this is blowing my mind how they know that that's the intent of what they're trying to do, because that's not what they do at all. They don't sow division. As a matter of fact, once again, like I said, they read the news and commentate on it. But how do they know if this is supposed to be hidden Russian messaging? How do they know that? How did they find that out? If, for one, they can't find the people, right? And if they did find the people, do you think they would say something about it? Yeah, they might not. And number two, is that really illegal? This is my interesting theory that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Right? We have freedom of speech in this country. We can say and do whatever the hell we want to. Now, we know that Democrats, as a matter of fact, are importing citizens from all over the freaking world. And they want to give these people all the rights that they deserve, including rights to vote, which technically, you want to go look it up, prove me wrong. Voting is not a right, by the way. It's a privilege. Just like a driver's license is a privilege, you don't have the right to a driver's license. Yeah, no, okay, but let's get off topic here a little bit. So, just kidding. But I want to go back to that left-wing article right quick. Let's reread this and discuss it for a second. While the views expressed in the video are not uniform. Okay, so there's a red flag right there. So the views are not uniform. So how's the messaging uniform? Because most are directed to the publicly stated goals of the government of Russia and RT to amplify domestic divisions in the United States. Now, how is reading the news and discussing the news sowing division? This is what I would love to know coming from the DOJ. I think they're just lying about this one. I really outright think that they're lying about this is all just Russian propaganda garbage. Because, yeah, what's coming from the DOJ is absolutely garbage. It sounds like speculation, right? They're not charging them with any sort of speech or anything like that. They're not charging them with actually promoting Russian propaganda, right? Like, what kind of charge is that anyway? Like trying to sow division. They're not sowing division, as a matter of fact. If you ask me, the Democrats and the corporate press, to be frank, is the ones that are sowing division in this country. Look what they've done to Donald Trump. Yeah, that's sowing division. That's where the bulk of your division is coming from. These people have been going after Trump constantly ever since he came down that escalator. Before that, think about this, y'all. Before that, he was a much revered public figure. Much revered. He had the #1 show on TV for a while. Everybody liked the guy until he ran for president as a Republican. All of a sudden, overnight, he's Hitler, he's evil, he's the Antichrist, for crying out loud. Some people, as a matter of fact, Tim Pool had a Culture War podcast episode, or whatever you want to call it, about, is Trump the Antichrist? Is it Trump or is it Elon Musk? It's got to be one of the two. It's like, okay, so wait. This is just crazy to me. Like, where are they getting this from? Once again, I would love to know that, but I can't find the indictment. I can't read the indictment, and that pisses me off till no end. Because normally, you can go to the government website and you can read these indictments outright. No problem. It's all publicly there, right there on their website. But I could not find it. I spent about 20 minutes looking for it. And, searching around on the internet on a specific site for 20 minutes. Yeah, I covered a lot of ground. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. And I'm posting this video to pose to you guys down in the comments. What do you think is going on with this? Do you think they were duped? Or do you think they were in on it? Promoting Russian propaganda to the American people to interfere in the election. Yeah, interfere in Democrats' democracy. That's what it was. Because, I don't know. I just find it crazy to me that all of a sudden, right before the election, this is going to pop up out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this. I thought we had freedom of speech in this country, and I thought that, if people want to get out there and be pro-Russian, they have the right to do so, and that freedom of speech is a right, and you do have the right to say whatever the hell you want to say. And it's crazy to me that the DOJ is going after them And the corporate press is pushing this narrative like it's all about the Russian propaganda. But hang on, the indictment is for not registering as a foreign agent and money laundering. There's nothing in there about pushing Russian propaganda, according to the corporate press. But once again, like I said, I can't read the indictment. I can't find the indictment. I will search, and if I do find it, I will update this video for you guys. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. And that's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.